Alrighty, and our last question from this section comes from Maniac Chris. And his simple question is,
Does it suck to be from Europe?
well, since you ask, no, it does not suck to be from Europe. We are a proud, prosperous people that lives in a great continent with so much different history and culture, admittedly some wars and iffy weather, but still a magnificent continent nevertheless. No, what sucks is the fact that certain gaming companies like to consider this great big continent as this third world minority place which they don't feel to be in any hurry to deliver games over, and some occasionally, if it's too much bother, they might not post it at all, despite the fact that it would probably gain extra revenue, especially if it's something like the Tales of series, which a lot of people really like because they're really good RPGs, but no! Don't release them in Europe, they would only tear it apart, wouldn't they now?
You vented it out then, Jonin?
Hey, a bit. Okay. I think I'm okay. Actually, no, I'm not. I need to do a little bit more. Okay, Tales of Destiny I can understand. It was possibly the second game in the series and it wasn't selling very well. But honestly, Legendia and Tales of the Abyss as well? Really? You decided you couldn't release them over them even after Symphonia's success? Really?
Oh boy. Somehow I just knew this rant was gonna be coming eventually.
Yeah. Okay, I'm fine. I'm relaxed. Happy place. Happy place. Okay, that's the end of this Q&A section for this month, so...
Yeah, let's move on before we... Man, rant session. I almost started it, then Jonin almost started it. Our day is complete.
Oh, yes. Okay. Okay, this is where the Q&A session would normally end, but we were sent in one question pretty late that we couldn't really ignore or postpone to next month. The question comes from Roy Havenstone 2. How did the tsunami in Japan affect the two of you as manga fans and also as human beings?
That's a tough one to answer because it's one you have to think about a lot.
Yeah. I guess I'll start. To be honest, I've kind of put the whole manga fan instincts behind me just because, well, even if you ignore the fact that it's Japan and where manga and where video games come from, it's a pretty horrible thing to happen to any country, to be blunt. I mean, tsunami's bad enough, and when you consider the fact that the tsunami was a result of a terrifying earthquake, which is apparently so powerful enough that it shifted the Earth's axis a bit so that we've lost 1 millisecond of each day. And on top of all of that, several nuclear meltdowns, or at least the threat of nuclear meltdown. That's a pretty awful experience for anyone to go through, to be...
Yeah. At this time, it's not really a time to put manga fan instincts in any sort of regard in front of just plain up human instinct to feel sympathy.
Definitely. For anyone who's out there in Japan or listening to this in Japan, our sympathies definitely go with you, and if you'll forgive me for being sappy for a moment, currently I'm looking for the best way to donate to any relief efforts to Japan, and I understand that not everyone has a lot of money to give away right now since, you know, recession, bankers and everything, but if you do have any spare cash, I will beg of you to please donate, because good or evil, rich or poor, no one deserves to go through this crap.
Yeah, I find myself in the situation just mentioned that I have no money to donate, which I find very, very unfortunate because I'd really like to, so all I really have to offer is my sincerest sympathies.
Yeah, I can understand that, and at least knowing that you would like to try and help is enough as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, that's fair enough. If you can help, do. If you can't, sympathy is good enough if you can.
Definitely. On the side though, from the little bits and pieces I've read, I do actually kind of like the fact that, for what it's worth, a lot of the Japanese people are at least trying to sort of recover and make things better for themselves. I mean, there's just got like one pretty interesting, pretty incredible story I found out from reading the papers and some people at the place where I work talking to me about it. That there was this guy who, they saw the tsunami coming, or at least heard about it. They were in a taxi. They got out of the taxi, raced to the top floor of a building so they'd be fine. they saw some people trapped down there, and then they set up this system where they somehow got a fire hose, threw it out of the building, and then used that as a lifeline to get people who were trapped on the ground up to the top so they would be able to escape. Now, I don't know, there's this kind of idea that somehow when human beings, even complete strangers, are just in the middle of danger like that, they're willing to use whatever means they can in order to rescue and help people with whatever they do. That does say a lot about the human spirit, I do have to say, so...
Yeah, even to me, and I am a pretty much uncurable cynic, even to me, that's pretty amazing. That restores at least some faith in humanity. And furthermore, something I have learned in this whole situation, we do not give Japan enough credit. For a country that just went through an earthquake, a tsunami, God knows how many aftershocks, a volcanic eruption, and 4 nuclear explosions, they're handling it pretty admirably.
I mean, sure, yeah, it's a pretty horrible thing to go through, but all we can do is witness Japan and good luck and help out in whatever way we can. And that's all that needs to be said, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to end the question.
And now back to the broadcast we recorded a while back. With all the questions covered, if you want to send us your own questions, you know what to do. Either leave a comment on these videos or send it to me via PMs. In the meantime, we will now move on to our next section.
Video games!
As the title implies, this is where we talk about the video games we've been playing recently, and thankfully, me and Sven have both been playing the same game, and it's one that we've been constantly dropping hints to throughout this, Pokemon Black.
Yes, finally. Our heaven has arrived.
Yeah, there's a lot of things we want to talk about in this, so I'll just let Sven go first.
I really don't know how to start it off, because there's so much amazing, awesome, incredible, wonderful, insert list of synonyms here, stuff we want to talk about.
Okay.
I'm just gonna leave it at that list of synonyms, because trust us, it's that good.
Alrighty, I guess I'll start then. I guess there's no point explaining the sort of gameplay for you, because it's Pokemon, you generally know what to expect. If you haven't played it already, check it out! Buy it, you will never regret it, trust me!
Yeah, take his advice, people. We're trustworthy people. Yeah. No, really. Take our advice.
Oh dear. But yeah, it follows a lot the same formula as Pokemon games. Story, it's the usual. You start off as a kid in a small town, but you end up going on a journey with one starter Pokemon, and you gather them all and collect them. Only this time, it's a little different regarding the villains. Team Plasma. Now, traditionally, the Pokemon villains have just been thieves or lunatics, pretty much. Like, in Ruby and Sapphire, you had Team Magma and Team Aqua. And essentially, they were teams that, oh, we love the water, so we're just going to flood the world. We love the land, so we're going to cause a drought. I don't know. They were kind of like that, but Team Plasma are kind of interesting because they kind of represent what is actually a pretty ballsy move by Nintendo, because you know all the complaints that some people are making that Pokemon's resemble cockfighting and forcing animals to fight each other? Team Plasma is actually kind of an answer to that. They're a group of extremists who say, we are for the liberation of Pokemon. They shouldn't be with these trainers. We will take these Pokemon away from you so that they can be free. Which is pretty interesting, and I actually kind of like that they finally addressed that little issue, even if it is making it in the form of an extremist group, but still.
Yeah. I like that they addressed the issue, but problem with the address of the issue, it doesn't change the fact that Team Plasma, especially the Grunts and the Sages, are still a bunch of habitual dog kickers.
Pretty much, yeah. Like I said, they're extremists. That whilst they have a kind of sympathetic motive, they're still completely other dicks. Let's just put it that.
Yeah. Especially their big boss.
I think I know who you mean, but I've only just obtained my 6 badge and I'm about to enter I think it's called Twisted Mountain or whatever it is, so yeah, if there are more big bosses, I would prefer to avoid spoilers, and that includes all of you people, so please do not spoil it, otherwise...
Your organs will be mine, and I will play with them for eternity.
Ugh. Okay, man, you just scared me into not revealing the spoiler.
Yeah, that was my intention. Anyway.
Yeah, you will all find out for yourselves then what I mean, and you will understand exactly what I mean.
Actually, Team Plasma also brings up another interesting element of Pokemon Black, which I was very surprised by. The story has actually gone a lot better.
It has. I noticed the exact same thing. It took a massive leap from the last game, and the last game had a pretty decent story itself.
Pokemon plots have been okay, but they've generally just been more of an exclusive plot, like, you've got to get 8 badges, then move on to the Pokemon League, and these fees will occasionally annoy you from time to time. And here it's this slightly deeper and complex plot with more stuff going on, and even some characters that actually go through development, like, okay, there are 2 childhood friends who accompany you this time round, Bianca and Shren, I think that's his name, or is it Chiren, or...
I have no idea how to pronounce it. I've been pronouncing it Charen, I think.
Ah, right. I've never tried to pronounce it until now, and it probably shows, but... yeah, the 2 of them are your childhood friends, and they take the other 2 Pokemon you don't choose, which we'll get to in a moment, and those 2 kind of become your rivals. I mean, they will continuously battle you, but what interested me is that they actually go through their own, like, character arcs. I mean, I've not seen them all to the end yet, but I found it pretty interesting that there were many events in the game that sort of changed their outlook a bit, and without giving away too many spoilers, and some deep issues they actually had to go with their own music, no less.
Yeah, I have to say, I'm very, very happy they decided to go the route with actual deepened characters. It makes the game so much more immersive. Yeah,
definitely. It makes it a lot more interesting. It's been a lot on time since I've actually gone into a Pokemon game actually wanted to learn more about the villains. Like, okay, who are they? Why are they doing this? Who is this mysterious fellow who keeps following me around?
Yeah.
In fact, the mystery actually came right from the start, because one thing I nearly always do is that I always just leave the title screen on so I can see the opening movie, because, you know, some games really do have great opening movies, and I was completely surprised, because normally the opening moves of Pokemon is just, oh, here's some dudes walking out there, so there's a guy, and oh, look, Pokemon battles, that kind of thing. But this time it was this, like, really deep, dark intro, like the villain walking, with, like, all of the people surrounding him, and there's, like, this deep flashback into his own personal thoughts. It's like, wow, this is a Pokemon game?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I haven't really been this into a Pokemon game in a long time.
Definitely. It actually shows that they do really care about the story this time round, that they haven't actually just thrown it in the last second, so...
Yeah, it's more a part of the actual plot instead of an optional pair of tassels you can put on the handlebars.
It also kind of helps with the gym leaders too, that they're getting more involved in the plot and shown to have actual characteristics rather than just, oh hey, one small feeble joke, ha 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 ha. Sigh.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah, they actually get involved in the whole villain plot this time. I always wondered where they were, or if, you know, the Pokemon world is just enforced by 10-year-olds.
Oh, yeah. That's one other thing I really like about the game, but I'll get to that later. So,